Hello everybody, it's Darlene Tuitz, NSI Global Educator here once again. I have just completed another fantastic video on another great product that NSI has, and I am so excited to share it with you. So come take a peek with me. I am very excited about today's video because today we are going to be looking at NSI Soft Gel tips. So this is a game changer in the nail industry, and I'm going to explain why and why I actually love them so much. So NSI has 5 different shapes. We've got a stiletto, we've got a coffin, we have a square, we have an almond, and we have an oval. The difference between the almond and the oval in these tips is that the oval is slightly wider here compared to the almond. These are the styles that we are going to be looking at today. We are going to also be using the NSI Soft Gel Tip Adhesive. It is soak off, it is very easy to work with, and it's actually really strong. So I've had a couple of people using the Soft Gel Tip Adhesive for different scenarios, and again, when we get into the application, I'll go through and I'll explain some of that as well. New NSI flexible arm light that we're going to be using for these soft tip applications. I also want to show you the base of this lamp. You've got an easy on-off switch, so a long press for on and off, and then a short press is going to change your timers. You've got 30, you've got 60, and then you also have a rechargeable option. So that means that we don't have to stay plugged up to the electrical. We can move this around wherever we might want to be doing these nails. Before we get started on some of the other things, I just want to show you the underside of this light. You can see that it has 3 diodes in it, and that's going to help to disperse the light out more, so you'll get a really good surface area coverage as opposed to a single lamp that is going to be more like a spotlight shining down. So I have already prepped my nails as far as etching them. I've done my cuticle work already, so we are going to get ready to put our acid-free primer on, perhaps a bond enhancer, and we're going to start doing the sizes. So I am going to be using the soft gel tips in the coffin style. What is really nice about all of our tips is that they are pre-etched. Let me just move this here so you can see. You've got a shiny spot, and then you've got an etched spot. The reason why we went with something that is etched is that it's a rougher surface, so you're going to get a better adhesion with the adhesive and to your nail. The other thing that I really like about these tips is that here at the cuticle edge, it is really nice and thin. So that's going to tuck in really well into your cuticle line, and you're not going to have a lot of bulk, so it's going to be an easy blending. They've also got a beautiful natural styled apex, so it's not a flat nail. So it's really giving your nails a really nice shape to them. So the tip box ranges from 10 to a 0. So 10 being the smallest, 0 being the largest. What we're looking for when we're testing and wanting to see is this tip going to fit the finger or not, is that we want to make sure that when we place the tip on sidewall to sidewall, that there is good coverage. We don't want to be too short because then there's going to leave a gap here. So we want to make sure that the sidewall of the tip fits nicely into the sidewall of the natural nail. So this is a 10. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find all of my sizes, and then I'll put them aside. So this is going to be an 8. And do you see how it's just a little shy there? So I'm going to go up a size. Let's see what the 7 looks like. And yep, that looks a whole lot better. It's just a lot easier if you find your sizes before you start doing the applications, because then you're always having to stop and restart again. So I like to do this little bit, get it out of the way before I start doing anything. It just makes it a whole lot easier. So I've got all my tips laid out, and the first thing that I'm going to do, now you do not have to do this. But if you have issues with lifting with any of your clients, I suggest you use the Essential Bond and apply a thin layer right here to that etched area. And what this is going to do, it's going to help it become even super etched, if that makes any sense right there. So I don't want to saturate it. I just want to be able to put a little bit on there, and then I'm just lining them up in order from what they were so I don't forget. And that, again, like I said, what that does is it really helps to have a good adhesion on the backside, the underside of the tip, to the natural nail. Now, you do not have to do this, but like I said, I like to do it because I like to do fills with my tips, which is also something that you don't have to do. But as we go along here, I'm going to explain reasons why I do and why I don't. Okay, so the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm just going to take my cotton square, and I am going to really scrub my natural nails, make sure that they are super clean and that they are really dehydrated so that all the dirt and the oil has been removed. I like to use Bond Enhancer because that helps to level out the pH in my natural nails. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'm going to apply that to all of my nails. A little goes a long way, so you don't want to have too wet of a brush, just nice and moist, and then go in, and that's going to make the nails turn a nice chalky white. And then when that has dried, I'm going in with my Essential Bond, and I'm going to, again, apply that to the natural nail. And I also don't want to saturate, so I like to do 2 nails and then dip to pick up more. There we go. Okay, so we are ready to rock and roll. Once the primers have all dried, okay, see how this one here is still a little bit wet? I don't want to have a wet contact because that's not going to work. So once everything is dried, I am ready to move on to my first step. And the first step that I'm going to do is I'm going to take my NSI Soft Gel Tip Adhesive, and I'm going to apply a thin layer to my natural nails, and then I'm going to cure it for 30 seconds. I like to wipe off the back side of the brush. I don't want to have it too loaded full. Scooch that out of the way a little bit. What's really nice about this brush, so let me just talk about that for just a second. If you notice, it's got a really nice curve to it. So that allows, let me scooch in a little bit closer so that you can see. So when I go to fan my brush out, do you see how it just hugs into the cuticle line and it gets down right into the sidewalls really well? So when we're manufacturing products, we don't just look at the product, but also the application. How is it going to best work for the client and not fuss? So we go right down to the brushes because we feel that those are very important as well. So you can see I'm just doing a nice thin layer. Now I am going to put my hand into the dual cure full hand lamp because I want all 5 fingers to be cured, and I'm going to cure that for 30 seconds. Okay, for this portion I zoomed, I lifted my camera up really high because it's really hard for me to get the camera underneath to show you how we're going to put them on. So I'm just going to do this just to show you, and then I'll zoom right back in again to where I need to be. So what you have to do, you have to be a little bit, it's easier when you're working on somebody else, but when you're doing it on yourself, you have to get a little bit creative as to how we're going to manage to get the hand underneath and do all those things. So I'm going to take this is my pinky finger, and I'm going to take my soft gel tip adhesive, and all I'm going to do is just roll a little bit at the cuticle end of the tip. I'm going to repeat this again so that when I bring the camera down lower, you're going to see that a whole lot better. Now, what we have to do first of all is we have to start the light. So I'm going to turn it on, okay? And you can see here, you can't really see, but I've got a little pink light there, okay? So the first thing I want to do is I turn my light on, and then at a 45, I'm going to angle the cuticle edge, and I'm going to press down until the soft gel adhesive reaches the free edge, and then I'm going to slide it underneath the light while I'm holding that pressure there. Okay, so that's what I want to do. So I'm going to just move this light out of the way. You'll see me going back and forth with the light, but unfortunately I can't have the light in and be close. Okay, so I've got my first one on. Here goes my second one. So you'll be able to see this a whole lot better now how I do this. So I take my soft gel tip adhesive and I want to so I wipe the back side off and I leave the front loaded. I want to just put a little bit of gel right here. This is going to be a learning curve, okay? You're going to use too much adhesive and sometimes you're going to use too little, but the more you do it, you'll get better at figuring out exactly how much adhesive that you do need. So I'm going to turn my light on again. You can see there's that pink light. All right, and here again, I want to come down on a 45. I want to make sure that my sidewalls are lined up really nice, okay? And do you see how I'm pressing out the adhesive just till it gets to the tip of the finger? And then I'm going to go over and I'm going to put it underneath the light. Okay, it's okay that there's this little bit of a margin there. I actually want that to happen because I'm going to go in and blend that in a lot better afterwards. All right, so let's do another one. So again, take my adhesive, put a little bit on the back side, and then go ahead and apply it to my finger. So you have to anchor yourself. So press it down, whoops. And then you can see I'm pressing out. Oh, guess what I forgot to do? Forgot to turn my light on. See, this happens to all of us. All right, light's back on. Try that again. Press that down. Line it out. And you can see how the gel is reaching to the end, and then you want to stop. If you keep pressing, then you're going to have a really big glob at the end, and that's going to get really annoying. At least when you stop just right at the free edge, you can get in there with your electric file and you can clean that right up, okay? So we've had a lot of people ask us, where do these tips fit in the industry? You're going to have people, nail techs, that say, well, I sculpt, I don't use tips. Or, and that's okay. That's great. I've been in the industry for over 30 years, so I sculpt lots as well. But the tips, what are really great about these tips, because they're really quick and easy to apply. If you imagine you're a brand new person into the industry and you're really nervous about getting started and taking clients, well, why not start with something like this? Because you can put them on. The shaping is already done for you. You don't have to sit there and worry about, oh, well, do I have my sidewalls straight? Do I have my parallel lines here? Like all of those different things. So this is really a great system for brand new nail techs. I've got one whole hand done. I do like to put my hand into the dual cure lamp and do a full cure in the big one. Yes, you could do a full cure underneath the flexible arm, but for me, I would just rather do a flash freeze and then put it in and then all are done at the same time. So that's just how I like to do it. So I was saying to you that these tips are really great for beginners or for all level of technician, whether you're an A-level tech or a C-level tech, it doesn't matter. You can do these tips with such great ease. And what I love about them is how thin they are. Like it's gorgeous, but yet, so these are the tips, yet they're so strong that I go weeks with these on. So I have, the whole hand is fully cured. Now, whether you want to, what some people will do is they'll put the tip See, I've left a margin because I want to blend this in, but you don't have to. Some people will put the tip right up to the cuticle line, and then there's no filing, there's no etching, there's no blending, there's none of that that you have to do. Your client comes back 3 weeks later, you can either soak them off and put on a brand new set again, or if you want to, you can maintain them. You can maintain these tips using either the soft gel tip adhesive, okay, or you can use hard gel, or you can use hard acrylic. So it doesn't really matter what you want to use. If you are an acrylic person, then use your traditional acrylic and just blend that in, file it like you normally would, and the shaping is still here. So they can be maintained, but they don't have to be maintained. Because I like to maintain and I don't like to have ridges, I like to have that little bit of a gap, and I'm going to go through and I'm just going to do some etching to blend that all in. So you can do that either with your hand file, using either a 180 or 150 grit file, or you can use your electric file, whichever one you're comfortable with. So I am going to use a medium grit diamond bit, okay? And I'm going to just put it to 2000 RPMs because I don't want it to be super, super fast. And I'm going to go in, on my cord, and I'm just going to blend that in right there. So it goes super quick. You don't want to use a carbide bit or anything because then it's going to dig into the soft gel tips, because they are soft in that regard that they do file quick, okay? But you don't want to use a really heavy coarse bit. I just want to get in there, do that little blend, give it a brush, and then move on to the next finger. Okay, so I've got all of my nails nicely blended in, so you can see that I don't have a ridge or anything like that. So it's just going to be nice and smooth when I go to do my gel polish. Okay, now you do have to, even though they're not super shiny tips, you do have to scuff them a little bit. So I like to use my buffing block, and I'm just going to go over and remove the shine to the nut or to the tips here, because then when I go to put my polish or cream gel or whatever it is that I'm putting on for color, that it's going to stick really well to it. So I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Okay, so I've taken my buff block and I have just given them a really nice buff. Now I do want my nails to match, so I am going to take length down on my nails. And you can use your e-file, definitely, but I like to use tip cutters. The reason being is that sometimes when you use your e-file to take length down, it curls the ends and it melts it, and so then I don't like that. So I just find tip cutters work the best, but by all means, if you want to use your e-file to do this part, you go right ahead, because maybe you just found a better trick than what I have. So I'm just going to take that length down. There we go. And I'm just going to straighten my ends to make sure that I'm nice and even. And we're going to get ready for gel polish application. You can see how absolutely easy it is to put these on, how quick the service goes, and you can have your clients in and out in no time, and yet you've got beautiful looking nails. So to be honest with you, I think, you know, if I was just starting out in the industry and I really wanted to be building up my clientele, I certainly would be going to the soft gel tips, because they're just that quick and that easy, and they're really nice and strong. So I'm going to go with my gel polish application, but what I like to do first, just want to get rid of any of the dust that might be in my cuticle lines or in my sidewalls. So I'm just going to give it a really good wipe down. So because I am going to put gel polish down, I am going to use my soft gel tip adhesive again, and I'm going to use it as a base layer so that my gel polish is going to stick really nice. So I'm doing the same thickness as what I did when I did my first adhesion layer on my natural nail, and I'm repeating that and putting it on. Now, doesn't that just look beautiful? So I will repeat this, put it on all 5 fingers, and then put it back into the full hand lamp, and I'm going to cure it for 30 seconds. I'm going to finish them off using my NSI gel polish, Call a Cab, and Reawakening. So we'll go through and do that. Now that I've got my gel polish on, I am going to seal it with the NSI gel top coat, HEMA-free, no wipe. The beauty of these tips is, think of them like they're the enhancement. So, you know, you don't, they're already sculpted for you. You don't have to do any of that, but this is now like any other enhancement that you may do. I think it's super quick. I love, like I said, I love the fact that they are super thin, but they are really nice and strong. You can fill them, maintain them. So I feel like this is just a game changer for the industry. Like I said, I feel like if I was a brand new tech, man, this would take a whole lot of stress out of learning, you know, how to sculpt, how to do all these different things to make really beautiful, long, elegant nails, or even salon style elegant nails, shorter styles. But I can now take my time learning that, because I can start making money. I can get my clients in and out. They're going to be super happy. And as I experience confidence and build up my clientele, I can take the time to hone in on some of those great valuable tools that comes to learn with sculpting. And there you go. They are done. Look at that. They look so natural. No one would even know that they are a tip that I've put over top of my natural nails. This is a game changer in the industry. And like I said, look at how nice and thin they are, which is always so hard to achieve when you're first learning to get nice, beautiful, thin nails, but strong nails. So check it out. Like I said, it is the NSI Soft Gel Tips. There are 550 count in each box, so that's going to get you quite a few sets done. They become pre-etched, thin at the cuticle, flexible and strong, and they don't snap and break on you because they're not a hard plastic. They feel great on, and I just can't wait for you guys to try them.